Number one, the effects on mental health. Robert Emmons, my boy. He doesn't know me, but I know him. It's one of those relationships, you know. He's on the West Coast, University of California. He did the study where he actually had three groups. He had the group that was supposed to write down hassles for 10 minutes a week, a group that needed to write down events, any event that happened, for 10 minutes a week, and then he had the group that wrote down blessings for 10 minutes a week. What he discovered was that the blessings group exercised an hour and a half more per week as a result of this intervention. They slept better. Catch this. They were 25% happier than the people in either of the other two groups. A meta-analysis, that was in 2007, a meta-analysis of 64 studies, each of which was based on a control group that was randomized. This is the gold standard for scientific study. 64 groups, huge sample size. They found this. When it came to symptoms of depression, down 7% in the gratitude group, down 8% in the in the gratitude group, down 8% in anxiety, and up 7% in life satisfaction. Now, some of you are saying 7%, 8%, that's not that much. See, you're one of those happy people. I've met you before. We don't get along, okay? I will take every percentage point I can. Don't take this away from me. 7% is a lot for me on any given day. And happier with your life. You're more satisfied with your life. More seriously, a study over 7 years of veterans, combat veterans, found that those with major depressive disorder were 3 times less likely to have depression in the gratitude group rather than the control. Catch this, 13 times less likely to commit suicide in the gratitude group. We could roll out the data all night long for the effects on mental health. What about physical health? Physical health. David Newman out of the University of California, studying 5,000 different participants, wrote this. Those who increased in gratitude had, quote, lower heart rate and lower blood pressure. Not to mention, quote, lower stress frequency and lower stress intensity. Now, this is not New Age thinking, that you just think something in your mind and then it becomes true in reality. That is not substantiated in the Bible nor in science. This is different. When you are stressed out, it releases cortisol and adrenaline and all of these other hormones into the body, which over time break down the physical structure of the body. You can't live on the ragged edge for too long. People with gratitude, what was going on in their minds affected their bodies. We read this in Scripture, Proverbs 17, verse 22. A cheerful heart is good medicine. It doesn't say that the heart is affected. It says that having a cheerful heart is the medicine for the body. That is the medicine that is being prescribed. Number 3, effects of sleep quality. Did you know that last year, $86 billion were sold for sleep medication? People are trying to get to sleep. People between the ages of 19 and 30, young people, 19 and 30, 22% of those people use alcohol or marijuana to go to bed. Now, I know very good godly people that struggle with sleep. This is not meant to say that, you know what I mean. If you know me, I'm not trying to give you any kind of guilt trip. I'm saying this helps. Gratitude. When you're laying down to bed, thinking of all of the great things in your life, gratitude doesn't knock you out. Gratitude doesn't give you the hangover. Gratitude doesn't do that. What gratitude does is it gives you peaceful sleep. This is all over the literature. Alex Wood, a former skeptic of gratitude research, says that gratitude improves both, quote, sleep quality and sleep duration. This was true regardless of personality traits, even neuroticism. Some of you will say, no, not me. Yes, you. No, not me. My personality, I'm really high-strung. Regardless of personality traits, even people that were profoundly emotionally unstable, this affects sleep, even in those people. Number 4, this affects relationships. We read from Amy Gordon. Gratitude was a better predictor of healthy long-term relationships than people's feelings of satisfaction in the relationship. How about that? I'm just not feeling very warm about this marriage. I'm not feeling very warm about this friendship. I can't disagree with that. How you feel is how you feel. What I will disagree with is this, that if you give thanks for that individual, your partner, your spouse, that this is the best predictor for you making it in marriage. Alan Barton, gratitude was the highest predictor of relationship quality. Researchers called it, quote, stress buffering. How would you like to have that in your marriage, huh? When the stressors of the outside world are coming in, giving thanks and expressing gratitude for the other, this leads to profound protection over the marriage. A buddy of mine went in for marriage counseling. He sat down with the counselor for 30 minutes, explaining in academic and exquisite detail all of the problems with his wife. The counselor listened very, very patiently and in a very Christ-like way. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I know her too. Yeah. After 30 minutes, the Christian counselor lined up his shot after listening, and he said to the man, "What are you grateful for about your wife?" And the man did this. And right as he did this, right this moment, he went, the counselor said, "That's your problem right there." I don't know why I told that story, but there it is.